Hello and welcome back to another edition of the preview show. Today we are looking at Paris-Nice and I am delighted to say we're joined by Matteo Jorgenson of Movistar. Matteo, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, David.
Cool. And where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Nice. I'm at the finish line currently. No, I'm a little ways away from the finish line, but yeah, I'm at home in Nice.
Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look through the stages. Some of the sprint stages we can gloss over because nothing much is going to happen, and we'll have a look at some of the big stages in a little bit more detail. So first of all, let's get the legendary Velo Viewer.
Oh, nice. I was just looking at Velo Viewer.
Yeah, so Movistar are one of the teams to have Velo Viewer. In fact, I think all World Tour teams apart from one has Velo Viewer.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So we'll have a look at it. So stage one, as we said, nothing much is going to happen. The weather is nice and sunny. There's not going to be much wind. So that means it's going to be a bunch finish. You can see from the screen that it is an uphill sprint, but there's nothing much to worry about. It's nice and easy gradients. What I would point out is the placement of the sprint points, which this year is nice and interesting. Near the end of the stage, so this sprint point comes with approximately 15 kilometers to go. It's at the top of a little steep hill. This is a recurring theme as we go through it. So stage one, it's all about staying safe for you, Matteo, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it looks straightforward to me right now, but yeah, I mean, the weather's looking good as well, so it should be straightforward. But of course, anything can happen in these early Paris-Nice stages. So,
okay, stage two. So stage two, another nice flat stage. Tiny little bit of a kicker at the end. But again, weather, we're talking sunshine, 11 degrees, 6.3 kilometers per hour wind. So again, another relatively straightforward day, yeah?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah.
Cool. Then we've got stage three, the start of the GC battle. So we have the time trial, 14.3 kilometers. We can see that we have two rather nagging climbs. The first one is short, it's about 500 meters at 9%. And then we have the finish climb, which again is short, 300 meters at 6.6. So, you know, the two very, very short climbs in what is a relatively straightforward TT. What is your TT like?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I mean, how I stack up to these guys, but I think it's okay. It's passable. I'm pretty big shouldered, so I don't know if I'm super aero, but no, I think I can pace it pretty well. So it looks straightforward to pace as well. I mean, there's some turns, a bit technical, but the hills aren't huge, and you just gotta do a little effort to get over them, and then it's more or less just kind of a steady effort, it looks like to me. So it'll be a nice test.
Okay, so that will start to shape the GC, and then stage four, which is tough, super tough. So we have 2 times up Mount Bruley, and then we have a very challenging finish. Have you climbed Mount Bruley before?
I don't think. I was just looking today at it. I don't think I ever have. This stage is pretty, it's near Lyon. It's like it's in this like kind of mountain hill range, I guess. It's not really mountains, but these little hills above Lyon. And I've done some racing there in Rhone Alps. All the roads are super small, terrible surface. So it'll be a hard day. I mean, a lot of these roads don't even have street view. I saw. That's how small they are. They're going through these vineyards, and yeah, they don't even bother filming them. So it looks to be a pretty stout day to me. And yeah, this climb looks to be the main one.
Really hard. I mean, I remember back in the day, I'm pretty sure it was the year Betancourt won. They went up it, and it was really tough. We do it twice. And then in between, we have this climb, which goes not all the way to the finish first time round. And then second time round, it does go all the way to the finish. And this climb is not to be underestimated.
Looks nasty, yeah.
Yeah, it is really tough in sections. Luckily, we do have some street view
Yeah, on this one
for
there
this
is.
one. Some of the corners look
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
we've got a classic, you mentioned vineyards, classic sort of French farm
Yeah,
track roads. You can see here gradients already up to 19%
yeah,
in this section. It's very reminiscent of the Tour de France stage that Alaphilippe won a couple of years
yeah,
ago, attacking from distance. Really hard.
yeah, yeah.
Go up a little bit more. And again, oh, sorry, that's where the street view disappears on us. We've got the
Yeah,
sprint.
yeah, that's the turn. Yeah.
We've got the
I think that
sprint.
whole road doesn't have it.
So the sprint there is obviously, again, extremely well placed.
Yeah. And this is the part to the finish now.
Yeah, so this is the extra bit to the finish. And this is not easy either. You can see from the color of gradient, we're talking, 5-6% coming up here. So it's just a very complicated final 6 or 7K. How do you see this sort of stage developing?
Yeah, I see it as a selection. I mean, I could be wrong. It's hard to know what the general will look like then, but it looks like a hard enough day to me the whole time. Like even these little troughs in between the climbs aren't like flat. I mean, you're going in between towns. They're all pretty small roads and a lot of corners. So I see it as more of a selection day. And then I think that final circuit will be pretty. I mean, I think there'll be some fireworks. Like these climbs there'll be like some compression points going into them. I was looking, like the towns are really, really narrow before like Montbreuil and then that second really steep climb. And I think it'll be pretty selective the whole day. And then obviously it's a hilltop finish, so it'll be what it is there. Best climber wins, I think. But I mean, it could be. I guess a group could get away. I don't know right now, but it looks to be a really stout day, I think.
I mean, we're talking 6 Cat 2 climbs, and I think they've made the finish a Cat 1 climb as well.
Yeah, and almost 4,000 meters of climbing.
Yeah, it's got more climbing in it than any other stage.
Yeah.
A lot of people will be focused on the mountaintop finish, but
for sure.
This is almost the hardest stage. As you've explained, narrow roads, lots of small towns, climb after climb after climb. If anybody underestimates this stage, they're going to be in for a nasty surprise.
Yeah, agreed. I'm looking forward to
it. In your kind of skill set, we saw in Provence, you've got quite a fast finish, yeah? Well, we nearly saw Provence before the guy took you out.
My sprint isn't very good, I'll be honest. But I think I can be there just from raw positioning, and I'm a big enough rider to where I can get to the line in a pretty good position, but I wouldn't say I have a good sprint at all. I wouldn't be being honest.
So stage 5, again, unless the wind blows, this is going to be a sprint finish heading due south from Saint-Étienne. There are some exposed sections, but the wind forecast I've seen for the week suggests it's going to be okay. So this just seems like a normal standard sprint stage. There will be big gaps after stage 4, so a small chance for a breakaway, but quick stepper here with Sam Bennett. So I would seriously doubt the breakaway's chances for this one. However, stage 6 offers an opportunity, and this is down closer towards where you are.
Yeah. I don't know any of these roads at all, but I mean, it's a long climb. It looks all very mellow gradients and actually kind of big roads for this region. So hard to say for me how it will pan out. I think if it goes, I mean, there'll probably be an early break and then GC team will ride, and so it'll be tough-ish, but I could see sprinters making it to the line.
A rather generous Cat 1 climb here, which is only 7.7 at 5.4%. So sprinters will be hopeful of possibly making the end. However, the end does have a small kick. Which 1.3 at 6%. It could put off a few of the sprint teams from chasing. Depends on the morning,
for sure.
But it looks like it could be perfect Thomas de Ghent territory.
We'll see. Yeah.
And then we've got Queen Stage, Stage 7, the big climb that's been in it the last couple of years, which isn't terribly popular with the fans, but it looks like quite a good climb for you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is actually a pretty decent. I mean, it's not a super hard climb. I did it the other day. I did this whole stage from start to finish the other day just to see how it was, and yeah, it's a reasonably hard day. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a proper mountain stage, but I mean, it has some long climbs. Like you start on Col de Vence, which is a stout climb, and so the break will automatically be pretty stacked, I think, no matter what, because it'll probably go on Col de Vence or right there before, and yeah, it'll be a pretty tough group that goes. So I'm sure it'll be riding fast all day to keep the break in check. And yeah, the Col Mian is the main event of the day, I would say. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it. I think we've seen it a few times in Pyrenees. Definitely saw it last year. It's like it changes gradient a bit. It's a bit tough, like right at the start, and then it levels off and it gets a bit easy, and then you go through the town in the middle, and there's a pretty hard pitch where Quintana went. It's not like super hard, but it's probably the hardest pitch of the climb, and then it flattens out towards the end, and then the last bit is actually not very steep. So it's a reasonable climb. What is it? 15K. It's 6%. So it's a long climb, long effort, 40 minutes or something at race pace, 40 plus minutes. So it'll be a real test. I mean, last year Quintana won with a gap, so I mean it's clearly a climber's climb, but I think it'll be all about, I mean, who knows what GC will be like at that point, but it'll be all about limiting losses for me, I think.
And you mentioned Quintana won last year. The time before that, I think Simon Yates was the winner on this climb. So it does suit a climber in terms of who will win, but then when you look at who's in the pack, not far behind, I suppose Quintana different last year because he just went crazy and blew everybody away. But Tige Benoit was second, Shackman was in the group, Yates won. I think Dylan Toons was up in second or third place. So
it's a group climb, I would say. It's a climb where there's a draft, so I mean, you're saving on the wheel a significant amount. So it'll be, unless somebody blows it from the very start, like on the first pitch, I think it'll be more or less the GC team riding until the top, or I could see Roglic being in the jersey then, and Jumbo doing a nice train. So yeah, we'll see.
Do you prefer that style? Obviously you're not a pro climber. Do you prefer that structured, organized thing at the front?
Yeah. I definitely prefer a steady effort. Any explosive stuff will take it out of me pretty quick. So yeah, I definitely prefer a nice TT type effort. 40-minute FTP test type of thing would be nice.
Saw you in Chalet Reynard, and Ineos did that. They set a real strong, like really strong pace.
Yeah.
Were you pleasantly surprised how long you lasted? I mean, you were there for. I mean, you didn't actually get dropped from the group until quite close to the end. I mean, how hard was that for you?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, that climb was. I think that day was different than this day. Even that was like a pure flat to mountaintop finish. I mean, there were hills that day, but it was like a perfect setup for an FTP test almost. And yeah, they were riding crazy fast at the start. And I think like coming out of the town on Chalet Reynard was one of the steepest points. And we were doing, I mean, I was doing like 460 on the wheel or something. And it was hard. And then I think I was dropped out like 4K to go when Sosa attacked. They accelerated obviously to try to follow that little guy, and I couldn't really follow. So I think I was I surprised myself in what I could do there, and the especially stage 3 and stuff. So I think, yeah, it was a positive sign.
And this climb is longer but easier gradient wise, so it is
Yeah, a lot easier.
possible to try and limit losses if you are
Yeah,
hopefully in a good GC position to stay in hopefully a structured group with Jumbo doing what Jumbo do,
yeah,
and try and save your losses for hopefully not another day, because then we move into stage 8, which is a stage you know fairly well, I would suggest.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. These are like my training roads every day, so
So
I
this
would
is
say I
the
know every
same
climb.
stage as 2 years back.
Yeah,
Starts off with a couple of Cat 2s. Then we've got the main event of the day for me.
yeah.
Uh,
Pay.
the pay climb, which is, approximately 5K, a little bit over 7%. We saw them
Yeah.
in Haute Var come down this climb, which I suggest is probably a little bit easier than going up it.
Yeah, pay's hard. Pay's a real climb. It's even deceiving, I would say, the percentage there, because it's really twisty, and a lot of these switchbacks are really quite tough. It'll be super steep, probably 10-11% on the switchback, and then you come around and it just flattens off a little bit. And so average wise it evens out to 7, but it's a tough climb. And yeah, I mean, we've seen it, I think it's been in Paris like for a long time. I remember watching Contador attack here and go pretty bananas. And then yeah, I think a few years ago Nairo attacked. He went away, and even Soler, I think maybe Soler was gone. But yeah, this climb is where things happen, I would say, in the race, where things move.
And this is where usually I would suggest it's a kind of breakaway day, but not a normal breakaway day, because
Yeah,
the early climbs allow GC riders to get in. It's a very hard day to control. It will have
for
the
sure.
pay climb, and then we've got a little bit of Col d'Ez,
Yeah.
1.25 at 9.6%, so very steep. Short little punch. Then we've got the Quarter Chemin climb at the end, which is relatively straightforward. But your main damage is done in this section here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that little pitch there from Ez to the top of Col d'Ez is a tough little thing. Yeah, I mean, it's short though, so by then groups may be set, but it could definitely drop a hard rider. A tired rider right there. And then yeah, you only have one climb to go from there. And the thing is with this day is, I would say, like the descents, these last 2 descents on coming down, it's called like the Moyen Corniche, is pretty. I guess this one you start at Col d'Ez, so it's a bit different, but yeah, the descents are pedalable, and like groups can come back. I remember Sky riding a group back one time on this descent, because it's pretty, yeah, it's not super steep, and like if you have a group and you have guys willing to sacrifice, you can actually make a difference. So it's not just like a climb and then you can just, it's like super hard and you just go right down. They're all like 5% or whatever, and really can change the race. So it opens the day up a lot for me. I think it's a really cool day, and short too. So it'll always be exciting in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that day was Sergio Henao they were riding for. I think he dropped, and I've got a feeling it was Thomas, I might be wrong, who got it together for him. Now, you mentioned it's 110K. How do you cope with such a short, intense type of day?
Hard to know. I mean, I think the big thing is not that it's 110K, but that it's stage 8, and it comes after the Colmion, which will be a more or less maximal effort if I'm in a GC position or whatever then. So yeah, it's just a matter of how much I have left in the legs, and if I'm still good on day 8, because all those climbs are hard, and it'll be a big expenditure day, even though it's 110K. So yeah, a lot of things can change, I think, and you've seen it change in years past on this day.
Now, you're going into this race with an eye on GC. It is a huge race. You've talked about it. You've watched it growing up. The first big World Tour stage race, well, the first World Tour stage race of the season, but one of the most important races of the season. How does it feel to go into it with an eye on GC?
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity for me. I'm super excited for it. I mean, yeah, like you just said, I've watched this race a lot, and it's a really nice race in my opinion. And yeah, a complete rider, I think a lot of times wins it. So it's yeah, sometimes a place for some excitement and some underdogs to win. So it's been a cool race to watch. But yeah, for me, I think it'll just be a good test of my first, big 1 week race. And yeah, it's I've never. I mean, I have in the past in U23, but at this level, I've never gone after a race of 8 days, and so yeah, I think we'll see how I fare.
Now, you obviously this is your second year pro. Are you still getting to know the type of rider you're potentially going to become? I mean, it seems like last year maybe we were looking at some one-day races. This year you've come in and you've rode a good race in Provence. You're now coming
Hmm.
here to a very tough stage race, going for
Yeah.
GC. I mean, where do you see yourself going? What type of rider could you become?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a question that the team is asking as well. I mean, I think at this point, I don't really know. I mean, yeah, I think last year we saw I can do a 1 day pretty well, and the team sees I have potential there, but they want to explore, a couple other directions. And with a longer contract now, I can kind of have the ability to do that, and without the pressure of contract years, I can explore, climbing or classics or whatever. So this spring they kind of wanted me to yeah try to see what I can do in some stage racing and climbing. And so yeah, I've been training that direction this recently, the last few months. And so I think, yeah, I can't answer 100% what type of rider I am. I just don't know.
You mentioned earlier your shoulders because
Yeah.
watching you Provence, you're very distinctive on the bike.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, I have
you look
really wide shoulders
you look
for
big.
a cyclist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you look larger than, well, wider, not in a bad way. You look wider at the shoulder compared to most other riders. You can
Yeah.
spot you quite easily. You don't look like
No.
what we think of as a climber.
Yeah. No. You're correct. That's happened in the last 3-4 years. When I was a junior, I was like as small as they come. I mean, I looked completely different. It was, yeah. My body's just changed a lot, and yeah, my shoulders are quite wide. I think I'm in the middle ground though with my weight and everything. Compared to my height, it's like I'm probably never going to be a pure climber with how I weigh, but I'm still reasonably light for my height. And I'm definitely not like a pure classics rider at all. So yeah, I mean, at this point we just have to do the races and see kind of where I excel. That's all there is to it.
And how exciting is it to think that the folk back home can get to watch Paris Nice the way
Yeah.
you watch Paris Nice? That must be super exciting to think that not only
Yeah.
family, but young kids, young American kids who are into cycling watching it can see a young American guy representing, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's great. I mean, I hope that there's even a way to watch it in the US. These days, watching cycling is not easy for American cycling fans. So yeah, I mean, I hope there's a way to watch it, and yeah, I'd love to do a good ride.
And then where are we off to next after Paris Nice? Can you let us know a little bit more of what this year?
I don't know if I can let you know, but I will. Kobe Bartley is what I'm doing next, and then yeah, and then I'll do a nice stint at altitude and come down and do Vuelta a Asturias and then the Giro. So I'm not a ton of racing, but a big long block at altitude in between Kobe Bartley and Asturias, and then yeah, first Grand Tour. So it's a huge spring for me. I'm excited.
And how do you think about holding form through to, obviously having to go to altitude is good, but
Yeah.
holding something back for the Giro?
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not holding anything back. That's for sure. It's a matter of if I can hold some form for the Giro. So Yeah, I mean, I'm just putting the trust in the team coach, and yeah, I mean, I've never tried to manage my form like this, and I've obviously never done a Grand Tour, so I don't know. Yeah, we don't know how my body's going to react, but it's all an experiment. I mean, we'll see.
And super exciting. Well, Matteo, thank you for giving up your time tonight to have a look at.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope the race goes well for you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sure there'll be a few extra fans cheering you on now.
Perfect.